Imagine waking up to a world where water is more precious than gold. By 2034, the world will face a dire reality. Demand for fresh water will outstrip supply by 40%. Climate change, population growth, urbanization, and mismanagement are pushing us to the brink. The threat is immediate, the scale is global, and the impact is long-term. This is the story of our thirst for tomorrow. But how will we cope when the last drop falls? Let's begin our journey in a city known for its resilience and innovation. This city, home to over 37 million people, is a beacon of modernity and progress. But beneath its gleaming surface lies a ticking time bomb. The water supply here is under constant threat from natural disasters. Earthquakes, typhoons, and tsunamis can strike without warning, disrupting water infrastructure and leaving millions vulnerable. Welcome to Tokyo, Japan, where, in 2011, a devastating earthquake showed us the impact of such events. Water pipelines were shattered, and access to clean water became a desperate struggle. As the population continues to grow, the strain on its fragile water system intensifies. Over the past few decades, Tokyo has transformed its water infrastructure. By replacing aging pipes with stainless steel and ductile iron, the city has reduced water leakage from a staggering 20% to less than 3%. This remarkable feat saves Tokyo millions of dollars annually and reduces its carbon footprint significantly. But beneath this success lies a looming threat. Tokyo's aging infrastructure remains a concern, with over 20% of all water pipes exceeding their service life. The city's reliance on surface water makes it vulnerable to prolonged droughts, and the specter of natural disasters like earthquakes could disrupt the entire water supply. Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, a water management expert, explains.
Tokyo's water system is robust, but it's not invincible. Climate change and natural disasters pose significant risks. We must continue to innovate and prepare for the worst.
But the question remains, will it be enough? As climate change accelerates, the frequency and intensity of natural disasters are expected to rise. This city's future hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of a water catastrophe. From the bustling streets of Tokyo, we now shift our focus to another legendary city, where the iconic River Thames runs low, and the taps threaten to run dry. London, a global hub of culture and commerce, is facing a water crisis that could bring this vibrant metropolis to its knees. London's water woes are a perfect storm of aging infrastructure, climate change, and a rapidly growing population. The city's Victorian-era pipes are crumbling, wasting millions of liters of water every day. The Environment Agency warns that within 25 years, London could run out of water, with a severe drought costing the city's economy $330 million per day. To combat this looming crisis, London is implementing a range of solutions. The London Climate Resilience Review highlights the need for new developments to achieve water mains consumption of 105 liters or less per person per day. Smart metering and water-saving technologies are being rolled out, and new reservoirs and water resources schemes are in the pipeline. But the challenges don't stop there. London is also underprepared for the impacts of climate change. Rising sea levels and more frequent extreme weather events pose a significant threat. The city is investing in flood defenses and sustainable drainage systems to mitigate these risks. But time is running out, the clock is ticking, and the stakes have never been higher. From the land down under emerges a city with grave concerns lurking beneath its vibrant surface. Imagine a future where water is a fading memory, and survival hinges on a dwindling supply. In Melbourne, Australia, climate change, relentless population growth, and rapid urbanization are choking the lifeblood of this bustling metropolis. By 2030, the city will face an urgent crisis, with demand for fresh water skyrocketing amidst plummeting supply. Climate models predict more frequent and severe droughts, putting a strain on the cherished resources of over 6 million residents. As rainfall becomes increasingly elusive, fear spreads like wildfire. The water table is dropping, emergency measures are in place, and residents are living in constant uncertainty. Will the taps run dry? Can Melburnians adapt quickly enough? To combat this looming crisis, Melbourne has implemented a range of solutions. The city has invested in desalination plants to convert seawater into drinkable water, and water recycling projects are being scaled up to supplement the dwindling supply. Public awareness campaigns urge residents to conserve every drop, and strict water restrictions are in place. Melbourne is also exploring sustainable solutions to secure its water future. Rainwater harvesting systems are being installed across the city, and sustainable urban drainage systems are being developed to capture and reuse stormwater. Community initiatives are playing a crucial role in promoting water conservation and resilience. As the climate continues to change, Melbourne's journey offers valuable lessons in resilience, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of sustainability. Melbourne's future is on the line. Will these efforts be enough to safeguard Melbourne's water resources? Before we go to next city, I want to introduce you to a model city of water sustainability. Singapore, a small island nation with limited natural water resources, was once facing a severe water crisis. But through innovative strategies and forward-thinking policies, Singapore has transformed itself into a model of water sustainability. One of the key strategies Singapore employed was water recycling. The city's advanced treatment facilities can recycle up to 40% of its wastewater, making it suitable for non-potable uses like flushing toilets and washing machines. Singapore also prioritized green spaces, recognizing their role in enhancing groundwater recharge. The city's extensive network of parks and gardens helps to absorb rainfall, reducing runoff and allowing the water to seep into the ground. Dr. Tan, water management expert, says,
Singapore's water management strategy is built on the principles of sustainability and resilience. We've created a robust system that can adapt to changing climate conditions and population growth. Our goal is to be self-sufficient in water by 2060.
Singapore's success story offers valuable lessons for cities worldwide. By investing in alternative water sources, enhancing groundwater recharge, and adopting a forward-thinking approach to water management, cities can ensure a sustainable water future. Now we visit a coastal paradise teetering on the brink of disaster. A city where the very ocean that draws millions of visitors each year threatens to swallow it whole. As climate change wreaks havoc, this city faces one of the most daunting challenges of our time: rising sea levels. By 2040, sea levels are projected to rise by up to 17 inches, submerging streets and displacing countless residents. The very shorelines that attract millions are now creeping ever closer to homes and businesses. Welcome to Miami, where each storm serves as a reminder of the city's vulnerability. Intense rainfall floods neighborhoods, turning palm-lined avenues into rivers. And as saltwater seeps into freshwater aquifers, the fight for drinkable water intensifies. How will this vibrant city defend itself against the encroaching tides? Dr. Jayantha Obesekera, a climate scientist, explains.
Miami is ground zero for sea level rise in the United States. The city's low elevation and porous limestone bedrock make it particularly vulnerable to saltwater intrusion and flooding. This is not just an environmental issue, it's a public health crisis.
To combat this looming crisis, Miami is implementing a range of solutions. The city is investing in stormwater management systems to reduce flooding and protect freshwater resources. Seawalls are being constructed to hold back the rising tides, and public awareness campaigns urge residents to conserve water and prepare for emergencies. Miami is also exploring sustainable solutions to secure its water future. Green infrastructure projects, like rain gardens and permeable pavements, are being developed to capture and filter stormwater. Community-led initiatives are playing a crucial role in promoting resilience and adaptation. But is it going to be enough? Curious about how other cities are coping? Stay tuned for more eye-opening segments. Subscribe now to be first to watch my future videos. Now we journey to a city where the lifeblood of its people is vanishing before their eyes. A city straddling two continents, now facing a dire threat from within. This metropolis, home to over 16 million people, is grappling with one of its worst droughts in history. Record high temperatures and a severe lack of rainfall have left its reservoirs nearly empty. Welcome to Istanbul, where grass now grows in reservoirs that were once filled with water, and cattle graze on what used to be lake beds. The situation is so critical that the city could run out of water in just weeks if rain doesn't come soon. The threat is immediate, the scale is overwhelming, and the impact is long-term. Authorities are taking drastic measures, pumping water from rivers 200 kilometers away, urging residents to cut down on usage, and installing special valves to reduce water pressure. But will these efforts be enough? As climate change accelerates, the frequency and intensity of droughts are only expected to rise. From the ancient city of Istanbul, we now turn our attention to another sprawling metropolis facing its own water crisis. Imagine a city where the ground beneath your feet is sinking and the water you depend on is vanishing. This sprawling urban giant, home to over 21 million people, is facing a water crisis of epic proportions. With reservoirs at less than 27% capacity and a rapidly growing population, the situation is becoming increasingly desperate. We landed in Mexico City that is sinking as it drains its aquifers faster than they can be replenished. The city's aging infrastructure is riddled with leaks, wasting precious water every day. As the demand for water soars, the supply dwindles, pushing the city closer to the brink. Authorities are scrambling to find solutions. The government has announced a significant investment in water infrastructure, including new dams, aqueducts, and irrigation projects. Rainwater harvesting and water recycling initiatives are being scaled up, and desalination plants are being explored as a long-term solution. Community initiatives are also playing a crucial role. Organizations like Isla Urbana are installing rainwater harvesting systems in homes, helping residents capture and store water during the rainy season. But with climate change accelerating and the population continuing to grow, will these measures be enough? Now, imagine a city of dreams, where the pursuit of stardom meets the harsh reality of nature's limits. This sprawling metropolis, home to nearly 4 million people, is facing a water crisis that threatens to rewrite its story. Los Angeles, the city of angels, is grappling with a devilish problem. Climate change and prolonged droughts are pushing this iconic city to the brink. By 2030, demand for fresh water could outstrip supply by 40%, leaving residents and businesses high and dry. Martin Adams, general manager of the LA Department of Water and Power, warns,
"While our reservoirs are full following 2 wet winters, we are still seeing the impacts of climate whiplash across the state. We must focus on local water supply projects and maintain water conservation efforts."
The city is fighting back. Ambitious projects like the Tujunga Spreading Grounds facility are working to treat polluted groundwater and recharge aquifers. When fully operational, it will deliver nearly 12,200 acre-feet of annual recharge, enough to supply thousands of households. But the clock is ticking. The specter of day zero, when taps run dry, looms large. The impact extends beyond brown lawns, food prices are soaring, wildfire risks are escalating, and the very fabric of this vibrant city is under threat. This is Los Angeles, a city where dreams are made. But as water becomes as precious as gold, will this oasis in the desert become a mirage? The future of the City of Angels hangs in the balance, with each drop of water more valuable than the last. Before we dive into our next city, let's test your knowledge on water scarcity. Here's a quick question for you. What percentage of the Earth's water is fresh and accessible for human use? A, 1%, B, 3%, C, 5%. Think you know the answer? Take a moment to guess. The correct answer is A, 1%. Only about 1% of the Earth's water is fresh and accessible for human use. The rest is either saltwater or trapped in glaciers and ice caps. Surprising, isn't it? This just goes to show how precious our freshwater resources are. Now let's move on to our next city facing a water crisis. From the sun-baked streets of Los Angeles, we turn our attention to another metropolis facing its own water nightmare. A city where ancient aqueducts once brought abundant water to its people, now facing an unprecedented crisis. This metropolis, with a history spanning millennia, is grappling with a modern-day catastrophe. Rome, the eternal city, is running out of water. A severe drought, coupled with record-high temperatures, has left the city's reservoirs at critically low levels. Leaky, aging infrastructure wastes millions of liters of water every day, exacerbating the crisis. Francesco Piccarella, head of Agrigento's Hotel Federation, states,
"Years of ineffective governance have made things worse. We've been talking about rebuilding the water network since 2011, but little progress has been made."
Authorities are scrambling to implement solutions. Plans are in place to drill new wells, build more pipelines, and bring aging desalination plants back online. But these measures require significant investment and time, luxuries that Rome may not have. The impact extends beyond households. Tourism, a vital part of Rome's economy, is suffering. Hotels and restaurants are struggling to meet water demands, risking the city's reputation as a top tourist destination. Rome, a city where the echoes of history are drowned out by the cries for water. As the eternal city faces an uncertain future, will it find a way to quench its thirst? Intrigued by what you've seen? There's much more to come. Stay tuned and subscribe for more captivating content. Now, we find ourselves in a metropolis on the edge of a precipice. This urban giant, home to over 12 million people, is facing a water crisis that threatens its very existence. Sao Paulo, Brazil's largest city, is grappling with a severe water shortage. Deforestation in the Amazon has disrupted rainfall patterns, leading to unprecedented droughts. The Cantarera Reservoir system, which supplies nearly half of the city's water, has been reduced to a fraction of its capacity. Authorities are implementing emergency measures to tackle the crisis. Water rationing has been enforced, and public awareness campaigns urge residents to conserve every drop. Innovative solutions like rainwater harvesting and wastewater recycling are being explored to supplement the dwindling supply. Efforts are also underway to address the root causes of the crisis. Reforestation projects aim to restore the natural water cycle, while investments in new infrastructure seek to modernize the city's aging water system. But with climate change accelerating, will these measures be enough to secure Sao Paulo's future? As the taps run dry and desperation sets in, will this vibrant metropolis find a way to quench its thirst? Welcome to Johannesburg, South Africa's economic powerhouse, now brought to its knees by a water crisis of epic proportions. This city of gold is facing a future where water may be more precious than any metal. For weeks, millions of Johannesburg residents have been grappling with a nightmare scenario: no water flowing from their taps. The crisis has spared no one, from the sprawling township of Soweto to the affluent suburbs. Lungile Koza, a mother of 4 from Soweto, shares her desperation.
We've been without water for 3 weeks. My kids are dehydrated and sick. I can't even run my small hair salon. Our government is failing us.
The root of this crisis lies beneath the streets. Johannesburg is losing a staggering 46% of its water supply due to leaks and theft. That's nearly half of all water, vanishing before it reaches a single tap. As the crisis deepens, city officials scramble for solutions. But with only 35 water tankers for a population of 6 million, their efforts seem like a drop in a very dry bucket. Johannesburg stands at a crossroads. Will this city of gold find a way to quench its desperate thirst? Or will it become a cautionary tale of a metropolis brought down by the most basic of human needs: water? Imagine a city whose very lifeline is under threat. Cairo, the beating heart of Egypt, with over 20 million residents, is facing a water crisis that could spell disaster for its people and its history. The Nile River, Cairo's primary water source, is shrinking. Pollution and overuse have turned its once life-giving waters into a source of concern. As climate change accelerates, the river's flow is becoming increasingly erratic, threatening the city's water security. Dr. Amr Adli, a water policy expert, explains.
Cairo's water crisis is a result of decades of mismanagement and neglect. The city's aging infrastructure is crumbling, and the government has been slow to respond to the growing threat.
Authorities are racing against time to implement solutions. Desalination plants are being built to convert seawater into drinkable water, and public awareness campaigns urge residents to conserve every drop. But these measures come with high costs and challenges. The crisis extends beyond Cairo's borders. The Nile flows through multiple countries, and disputes over water rights are escalating. Egypt's reliance on the river makes it vulnerable to upstream developments, adding a layer of geopolitical tension to the already dire situation. Cairo, a city where the ancient and the modern collide, now facing a future where water scarcity could rewrite its history. As the Nile's waters dwindle, will Cairo find a way to secure its lifeline? Picture a megacity of 21 million people, where the water flowing from taps is too toxic to drink. Welcome to Beijing, China's capital, where a water crisis of unprecedented scale is unfolding. Beijing's water woes are a perfect storm of pollution, overuse, and mismanagement. The city's rapid industrialization has left its rivers and groundwater severely contaminated. Meanwhile, inefficient water use in industries is draining the city's already scarce resources. Li Wei, a Beijing resident, shares her daily struggle.
We can't trust the tap water. I spend a fortune on bottled water for my family. It's not just about drinking. We're afraid to even wash our vegetables with tap water.
In a desperate bid to quench its thirst, Beijing has turned to monumental engineering feats. The South-North Water Transfer Project, one of the largest of its kind in the world, now channels water from China's south to the parched capital. But at what cost to the environment and communities along the way? The government is implementing strict water management policies and investing in cutting-edge water treatment technologies. But with the city's population continuing to grow and climate change looming, will these measures be enough? This is Beijing, a city racing against time to secure its water future. As pollution chokes its rivers and aquifers run dry, will this ancient capital find a sustainable path forward, or will it become a cautionary tale of environmental neglect? Now, I want to hear from you. What innovative solutions do you think could help solve the global water crisis? Perhaps you've heard of emerging technologies like smart irrigation systems that use AI to optimize water usage? Or maybe you're inspired by nature-based solutions like rainwater harvesting or permeable pavements that help recharge groundwater. Could desalination technologies be the answer for coastal cities? Or do you think the solution lies in policy changes and public awareness campaigns? Share your ideas in the comments below. At number 3, we have a city where the countdown to catastrophe has already begun. Cape Town, a jewel of South Africa, came perilously close to becoming the first major city in the world to run out of water. This is the story of Day Zero, the day when the taps were predicted to run dry. Between 2015 and 2018, Cape Town endured a 1 in 400 year drought, pushing its 4.6 million residents to the brink. Dam levels plummeted to critical lows, and the city faced the terrifying prospect of Day Zero, the day when municipal water supplies would be largely switched off, leaving residents to queue for their daily ration of water. Thandi, a Cape Town resident, recalls the fear.
We were down to 50 litres per person per day. Every drop counted. We took 2-minute showers, collected rainwater, and reused every bit of water we could. It was a daily struggle, and the fear of running out was always there.
Christine Colvin, a freshwater manager for WWF, explains,
"The crisis was a wake-up call. It showed us the harsh reality of climate change and the urgent need for sustainable water management."
The city's response was swift and innovative. Authorities implemented stringent water restrictions, urging residents to save water like a local. Daily public communications stressed the need for short showers, minimal flushing, and no garden watering. The city also established 170 pressure management zones, reducing leaks and bursts, and saving up to 70 million liters of water per day. To secure its future, Cape Town has launched the New Water program, aiming to deliver 300 million liters per day by 2030 from alternative sources. Investments in desalination plants, groundwater extraction from the Table Mountain Group aquifer, and water reuse projects are underway. The city has also raised funds through a green bond to upgrade reservoirs and water supply networks. Cape Town, a city that narrowly averted disaster but continues to fight for its water future. As climate change looms, the lessons learned here are a beacon of hope for cities worldwide facing similar threats. Now we enter a city where the monsoon rains have become a distant memory, and the struggle for water is a daily battle. A thriving metropolis in southern India is facing a water crisis that threatens its very existence. In 2019, this city made headlines around the world as it ran out of water. The city's 4 main reservoirs dried up completely, leaving over 10 million residents in a state of emergency. The monsoon rains had failed, and the city was pushed to the brink. The response to the crisis has been multifaceted. Authorities have implemented strict water rationing, and residents are being urged to conserve every drop. Rainwater harvesting has been made mandatory for all buildings, and efforts are underway to restore and desilt the city's lakes and reservoirs. To secure its future, the city is investing in long-term solutions. 2 desalination plants are already operational, converting seawater into drinkable water, and more are planned. Water recycling projects are being scaled up, and community-led initiatives are working to recharge groundwater and promote sustainable water use. Welcome to Chennai, India, a city that has faced the brink of disaster but is fighting back with resilience and innovation. As climate change continues to pose a threat, Chennai's journey offers valuable lessons for cities worldwide. Wait for it. The final city is just ahead. Subscribe to the channel now. My next video will be even more fascinating. At number 1, we are in a megacity of over 10 million people, where the ground beneath your feet is sinking, and the water you depend on is vanishing. This is the stark reality for one of the world's fastest sinking cities, facing a crisis that threatens its very existence. This city is sinking at an alarming rate, with some areas plunging by up to 25 centimeters per year. The culprit? Massive groundwater extraction, as residents and businesses drill their own wells to access fresh water. This relentless over-extraction is causing the city to sink, while rising sea levels compound the threat. Welcome to Jakarta, Indonesia, a city on the edge, where the battle against water scarcity and land subsidence is a fight for survival. Dr. Harry Andreas, a geologist at the Bandung Institute of Technology, warns,
"If we don't stop the excessive groundwater extraction, 95% of North Jakarta will be submerged by 2050. It's not just about water scarcity anymore. It's about the very survival of the city."
The government is racing against time to save the city. Plans are underway to build a giant seawall to protect Jakarta from rising sea levels and storm surges. But critics argue this is just a band-aid solution. The real challenge lies in addressing the root causes of the crisis. Efforts are being made to expand rainwater harvesting, improve urban water distribution, and restore green spaces to enhance groundwater recharge. The city is also investing in wastewater treatment plants and exploring desalination options. But with climate change accelerating and the population growing, will these measures be enough? The water crisis knows no borders. As cities struggle, our interconnected world must unite. The time to act is now, before the last drop falls.